Good morning, everyone. Well, I am back, and I have actually just got back from a trip away. I decided to get away for a bit, go visit some friends, and take a bit of a road trip. And it was interesting because people had wondered about me spending so much time in the car by myself. And it got me thinking about the power of showing up for ourselves. Now, my name is Gail Robertson. My company is Gail Now, and I am a marketing strategy guide. So what I do is work with clients and help them tell their stories and help them show up to share their knowledge, share their expertise, and share what they can offer to their clients, to their suppliers, and to people that may be important as part of their business life. But it's also important for us to show up outside of work, to show up for ourselves. So I decided that it was going to be part of my journey away is how could I show up best for myself? And often we show up for our friends, family, pets, our clients. And what I'm most proud of is that the clients that I do work with were very supportive of my time away and actually didn't even want to bother me too much. But I found what helps me is having balance, whether I'm at work or whether I'm taking time off. So this is my tip for today is that it's really important to do what works for you. If it's important to completely disconnect for you while you're away, that's great. It doesn't work for me to completely disconnect. Now, Frank Abruzzese posted something on Twitter today, and it got me thinking too, because we are very much alike in that world in terms of we like to find balance. We want to disconnect. We want to be focused and be in and living in the now when we're on our vacation or time away. But we also still like to keep connected with some of our work life because, and I know for Frank as well as for myself, what I do, I love what I do. And it's very important to me, and it helps me, I think, be successful because when you love what you do, work comes much easier. So if we're looking at showing up for ourselves, there are a couple of things that I can suggest as tips for people. One is there's a book by Julia Cameron called The Creative Way. And what she talks about is filling up your creative well, taking time to do things that are about sometimes shutting down from work and coming up with ideas. And she suggests things like morning pages, which is journaling. She also suggests doing creative dates, both with someone as well as on your own. And these are things that can be maybe go to a movie, maybe go for a walk. While I was away, my friend also mentioned something. She was reading an article, and it talked about something I do, having a cold shower, making sure that you are eating healthy, getting enough sleep, all of those things that keep us healthy, and also something called forest bathing. So I looked into that a bit more, and basically that's going for a walk in the forest. So we took a couple of bike rides through a wooded area and just taking time to breathe in the smell of the wood, the smell of being out in the wilds, even when you can be close to a city, is so valuable to, again, keeping us healthy. And also, while doing some of these walks or rides, taking time away, it does help to clear our brains to open up for new ideas. I was reading an article, and that also got me thinking about this idea of showing up for ourselves. And it said a growing body of scientific evidence explains that many of us have learned from unpleasant experience. Push yourself through too many hours of work and your brain starts to push back. And then ideas that once flowed easily and tasks that you're able to perform easily, all of a sudden become very difficult. And then what do? We then say, work harder, push harder, do more. When in fact, maybe we need to step back, take time out, and think about what are some of the ways that we can rest our brains. For people who are very driven when it comes to work, And I work with a lot of people in manufacturing who are also very driven, and they can often get caught up in just doing and pushing harder. When in fact, the value sometimes comes when we step back and look at what else can we do that isn't only pushing ourselves. Sometimes pushing when it comes to sales can be sending more emails, making more phone calls, trying to just sell harder, when in fact, it may be about stepping back and looking at the broader picture, the broader perspective. This is where in our virtual world, where social media can come in, because we can start to maybe look at developing some of those relationships, making some of those connections that are important to filling that well. Because sometimes doing and pushing doesn't actually help us get to our goal. It actually just wears us down. So I teach a 3-step process that's called sign up, suit up, and show up. And it often, first of all, we have to decide with a sign up, it's our mindset. Do we want to make change? Do we want to do some things differently? That's the sign up part. You have to decide first, do you want to accomplish those goals? Well, we all want to accomplish our goals, but we set a goal, but then what happens is, are we prepared to put the steps in place to get us to those goals? And that's where the objectives come in. So first it's sign up and then suit up. Now, this is where the work comes in. This is where, for me, I often recommend tapping into curiosity, doing your research, figuring out what are the things that you need to do to get you to the next step, which is showing up. And we do need to show up. That's where we make those connections and we can find the greatest value, but only when we are doing those first 2 steps of signing up and suiting up. So back to my trip away. So a couple of things that I did while away was I managed to do some swimming, some cycling, paddle boating, and I decided to try some paddle boarding. And I will tell you, this is where I had some fear about this because it's much more difficult to stand up on a board out in the water than I thought. And I'm sure anybody was watching me would have had a few chuckles. In fact, I also was laughing at myself because if you could see me trying to get up on this board, crouched over, my butt in the air, and it must have been quite a sight. But after about 3 or 4 tries and a couple of dips in the water, I did manage to stand up, but it wasn't easy. Now I'm looking at what do I do next, because I'm thinking about getting a paddle board, but I know that there's going to be a long journey ahead. But because I had disconnected and taken that time for myself, I was able to look at things differently and figure out ways that, what are things that I can also set as my next goals. So as we look at showing up and showing up for ourselves, it's about sometimes laughing at ourselves, trying things outside our comfort zone, and being willing to do things differently. Maybe not always the way that we have done them in the past. All right, I am going to wish everyone a great day. I am off to do a couple of things today that will help me achieve some of my goals, including meeting with a couple of people that I haven't seen for a while. Well, one person I haven't seen for a while. And I've got a full task list ahead, but I am ready now to take on a lot of these tasks because I've had the time away and was able to show up for myself. So here's the question I'd like to leave with everyone. How can you show up for yourself this week? Have a great day, everyone. If you would like to get in touch with me, you can find me at my website, which is gailnow.com. I'm probably most active on Twitter at @gailnow. I do have a TikTok. I'm also on Instagram. I'm at gailnow1. And obviously on LinkedIn and YouTube, you can also follow me and see some of the work that I'm doing. But mainly what I hope for everyone that may be listening, either now or in the future, is that you can start to look at how are things, as Inger just said, how can you maybe get outside your comfort zone and show up for yourself? Have a great day, everyone.